This vehicle has to go right now, or I'm dialing the cops. That's what this overzealous neighbor lady yelled at my grandson the second he rolled into our Riverside retreat driveway. I stood there, stunned, as she exploded over absolutely nothing. What should have been a chill autumn getaway turned into a total ordeal when our self-important neighborhood association head jumped in. She figured she could bulldoze our lives with her ridiculous control issues. But little did this unhinged busybody know she just picked a fight with the last guy on earth she should have messed with. Let me paint the picture for you. I'm Robert Ellis, 64, and after 3 decades slugging it out in courtrooms, I thought I'd earned my quiet retirement at this cozy riverside home. The spot's my haven, nestled among ancient oaks, with the river's gentle flow right at my private pier and that deep, soul-soothing quiet you can't put a price on. I've got my dawn tea ritual nailed, my hiking trails all scoped out, and a pile of mysteries waiting to be cracked open. Life was smooth, truly peaceful until Storm Victoria blew in. Victoria Langford is 54, with that immaculate silver bob that defies gravity even in a gale, the type who probably starches her bathrobe. She's been the neighborhood association president for 4 years straight, wielding that role like she's the empress of the block. She's twisted our casual watch group into a full-on inquisition, convinced her life's calling is upholding neighborhood integrity. In reality, it's just her way of bossing folks around to stroke her ego. My grandson Ethan, a solid 22-year-old senior at the local college, had just driven in with his rusty old SUV for what was meant to be a low-key fall break. The kid was wiped from exams, reeling from a rough breakup, and I reckoned some river time would reset him. Ethan's the sort who holds doors for strangers, volunteers at shelters, and hasn't so much as jaywalked. So when he parked a tad off kilter maybe 8 inches onto the lawn, not blocking a soul, no hazard, just eager to unwind after the 5-hour haul, I didn't bat an eye. From her bay window across the way, Victoria zeroed in on that SUV like a shark sensing blood. I watched, jaw-dropping, as she bolted out with her tablet, orbiting the vehicle like a forensic expert at a murder scene. She snapped pics from every conceivable angle, even dropping to her knees to capture each offended blade of grass. Gripping that tablet like a shield, she clicked away with the fury of a battlefield reporter. But it escalated fast. Victoria wasn't satisfied with photos. She paced, muttering loud enough for the street to hear. Unlisted vehicle. Blatant breach of parking rules. This is the erosion that tanks home values. Folks started clustering, pulled by the spectacle like rubberneckers at a wreck. Old Mr. Harlan from 2 doors down poked his head out with his toddler grandkid. Ms. Patel wandered from her yard, bemused. Even the kids biking by paused to gawk. What burned me most? No one piped up. They just observed some sheepish, others smirking at the show. I caught Ms. Patel yanking her grandkid back, saying loudly, "Stay clear of there, sweetie. Those folks ignore the guidelines." It hit me hard. After 25 years here, I felt like a pariah in my own backyard. Victoria was now bellowing into her phone, her words booming like a doomsday siren. This car's not on file with the association. Major security lapse. Cops are on their way. Security lapse? We're talking a college kid's ride, not a bomb threat. But she flailed her arms, jabbing at the SUV, strutting like a commander plotting an assault. The absurdity nearly made me chuckle until I saw she meant it. This lady was summoning law enforcement over a tire grazing turf. Half an hour later, a pair of officers showed young fellas who'd clearly rather be chasing real crime. They stepped from their cruiser, faces etched with the fatigue of endless petty calls. They caught Ethan mid-unpack, lugging his backpack and a tub of fresh-baked brownies, looking baffled by the flashing lights. I offered them lemonade on the porch and coolly asked, "Officers, is this really warranting lights and sirens? Any actual emergencies out there?" The senior one, barely 28, flushed red, muttering about protocol while scribbling notes. They skipped the drink, wrapped up quick, and split without a peep. Victoria lingered in her drive, arms folded, foot drumming like she expected Ethan in irons. When they vanished without a ticket, her glare was pure venom, the rage of denied victory. I figured that'd wrap it. Boy, was I wrong. Next dawn, a critical violation alert envelope jammed my door like a subpoena. Inside, a $750 penalty plus 4 pages of wild claims, drafted like she'd lawyered up. Per this rant, Ethan had committed improper vehicle positioning, aesthetic disruption, visitor protocol infringement, and me fave fostering defiance against neighborhood norms. She spun his minor swerve as the spark for a full uprising against civility. For the first time in ages, real fury boiled up. Staring at that nonsense, seeing Ethan's fretful eyes as he wondered if he should bail, something cracked in me. I strode to my den, where dusty legal tomes lined the walls, slipped on my specs, and muttered, "Time to revive the old playbook." The days ahead revealed how far Victoria would push this vendetta. She unleashed what I dubbed Operation Banishment, a calculated siege to alienate us. Signs popped up overnight at the picnic spots and trailheads, facilities for rule-abiding members only. When I rang the association line, they claimed our access was pending review over unresolved issues. In plain speak, Victoria was barring us from spots we'd enjoyed for decades. Then the whisper sessions, she'd host urgent neighborhood chats in her den, visible to passers-by, gesturing wildly our way while her cronies bobbed in agreement. In 2 days flat, every booking I'd made vanished the gazebo for a quiet red suddenly in repair. The river slip for our weekend paddle, reserved for official use. Ethan took it rough, blaming himself, which gutted me. One crisp afternoon, we strolled to the pier where I'd shown him to cast a line at age 10, only to hit a fresh sign. Restricted access. Trespassers prosecuted. Ethan froze, shoulders sagging. "Grandpa Rob," he whispered, "this mess is on me. Maybe I should head out, I don't want you tangled up." For a heartbeat, I wavered, tempted to cave, apologize, reclaim my tranquility. After all, I'd fled the legal fray for this serenity, not fresh battles. But gazing at his defeated face, it clicked. This wasn't parking gripes. It was a tyrant flexing her sliver of clout to smash dissenters. That night, as Ethan and I fired up the grill on the deck, a surprise knock came. Clara Donovan, 78, from 4 houses over, clutched a folder, glancing around like a spy. Clara's always been warm but reserved, the way from the flowerbed type who steers clear of drama. "Robert, hope I'm not intruding," she said, handing over the file. "I've seen this circus unfolding, and you need this." Inside, a faded news clip from 4 years back, headlined, "Willowbrook Association Chief Resigns Amid Missing Funds Probe." My pulse quickened reading it. Victoria had quit her prior gig after $22,000 in dues vanished, shady payouts to ghost vendors, phantom upgrades, solo decisions, sans board nods. She'd bolted right before audits, citing personal emergencies. No charges stuck, evidence thin, but the town had hounded her out. This new role? Her shot at redemption, proving she could lead without stains. Clara lingered as I read it to Ethan, puzzle pieces snapping together. "She's paranoid about perfection now," Clara explained. "That's why the iron fist, she can't risk another flop, so she overdoes the rule-monger bit." Ethan peered up, puzzled. "But Grandpa, if she's dodging heat, why escalate over my parking?" I tucked the clip away, steadying him. "Because, kid, tyrants sniff weakness. She pegs a low-key retiree and a student as pushovers." Staring at Ethan's downcast eyes, then Clara's proof, resolve ignited in me like a dormant flame. "Enough," I declared, voice edged with steel. "Let's show her true oversight." Clara grinned faintly. "Knew you'd step up, Robert. We've all waited for someone to challenge her, but fear held us back." Post-Clara, I dove into my den, not for thrillers but case-building, unearthing old files, firing up the computer for digs into association regs, fiscal checks, and ops standards. The deeper I probed, the clearer Victoria ran this like her fiefdom, flouting protocols. What wild secrets lurked in that clip? Over 3 intense days, I audited our association like prepping a landmark case. I demanded 3 years' finances, minutes, contracts as an owner, my right. Victoria stonewalled. Bogus forms, phantom fees, legal review delays. Her blocks? They built my misconduct dossier. The records finally coughed up horrors. Hefty outlays for trail enhancements, nowhere in sight. $14,000 on Heritage Path revamps. $9,000 on riverbank spruce-ups. I'd tread these paths forever. Zilch changed. Minutes showed her solo calls. No votes. No input. Ethan shone too. At the community hub, he spied Victoria's forgotten tablet post-meeting. Planning to return it, the screen flared Riverside Budget Rev 3.pdf. Just digits, Bill Snow pics, no contacts, no proof of work. He snapped a pic quick, handed it in. That night. Grandpa, this smell off? Thousands on fixes, no before-afters. Sharp eye that boy. The shot was gold. I looped in my old ally Sophia, a top forensic accountant who'd tracked laundered cash through mazes. Sophia, need your magic on some shady books. Coming out of hibernation short-term. Victoria, undeterred, amped her assault. At a semi-private huddle we crashed, she staged a drama fest. Projector blazing, she preached to 35 locals. Certain members flout rules, endangering our haven. Slides blasted Ethan's SUV zooms on damaged sod, drone views from her upstairs. She rapped with tougher enforcement, granting her carte blanche fines. Q&A time, I rose steady, reciting guest parking bylaws verbatim temps, notices, appeals. Victoria flushed crimson. Mr. Ellis, you presume to outknow me? I'm the elected voice. I interpret as needed. I smiled that courtroom calm. Actually, Victoria, I know folks who pen these templates. Perhaps they clarify. The room hushed, whispers buzzing, glances my way. Clara nodded approval. Victoria's poise fissured out, flickering. That shift? Palpable. Night's blurred organizing proof. Fiscal red flags. Rule breaks. Power grabs. Plus Clara's history. Sophia's prelims? Worse than hoped. But reveal timing? Crucial. Next day, her mandatory summit notice hit, pushing compliance votes. I messaged, ideal. I've intel to share too. The hub overflowed 62 crammed in a 40-seater space, air thick with buzz. Word of our clash had spread. All craved the showdown. Victoria geared for battle. Laptop, slides, binder like armor. Her spouse front row, mortified. Allies planted strategically. She donned her power ensemble, blazer screaming authority. Opening strong. Before agenda, a threat to our values. Her opus? A prosecutorial slideshow on Ethan's infraction metrics, stats on value dips, anon quotes on insecurity. Core, my SUV dissection, spun as eco-catastrophe fraying society. Mr. Ellis fancies himself an expert, but he lacks standing, authority, credentials for our intricacies. Silence reigned. She beamed, sensing triumph. This transcends parking, it's defending our legacy from disruptors. Q&A, I stood deliberate, crowd pivoting. For my case, files, drafts, statutes unseen by most. No standing, no creds. Pause lingered. Allow a proper intro. Hush absolute, AC whirring. I'm Robert Ellis, not just versed in these rules. I co-authored them. Pin drop silence, breaths held. I flashed the state template, my name on page for the blueprint for 250-plus communities, ours included. 30 years crafting safeguards against your exact power abuses. Gasps rippled, a mug shattered. Victoria cycled shades to ashen, hands quaking. Impossible, she sputtered. Can't claim expertise without proof. Another doc, legislation with my SIG. I built frames barring undue fines, access denials sans process, harassment, opaque finances. Room erupted in murmurs as I detailed her breaches, solo penalties, amenity blocks, campaigns, unchecked spends. Heads nodded, allies squirmed. Clara beamed. Victoria flailed objections, voice shrill. Even if true, no crime proven. No malice. Mere slips. My grin chilled. Violation started. Now, the fun's path. Tomb silent. Victoria blanched, gripping podium. What insinuation? No bite left. Crowd leaned, scenting blood. Ethan thumbs up from back. Sophia's dig? Explosive. Tomorrow, they'd learn their president's cash games. I'd tipped a local reporter on governance tweaks, but this front page for fraud. Hub jammed tighter, 70-plus peering in windows. I'd honed my pitch like a pivotal summation ironclad, pro. Victoria looked wrecked. Bags under eyes, hair askew, jittery vibe. With hubby and a slick-suited attorney murmuring. As I set up, her stares bored holes. First, context on players, I boomed. Slide 1. My JD, bar cert, pick with governor signing my bill. Murmurs swelled excitement, affirmation. For absentees, 3 decades in governance law, I shaped your framework. Next, side-by-sides of her fouls versus codes. Under her watch, I dissected every overreach fines, procedures, authority grabs. But pivot. Breaches worry this? Criminal. Silence starved, eager. Records show $28,000 in 2 years, 4 upgrades. Banks, checks flashed. I've scoured every trail, banknote changes. Identical pics proved zilch done. 16K heritage paths. Phantom. 9K river pretties. Gone. 6K infra. Missing. Bombshell. Payments to VL Holdings LLC state regs. Owned by Victoria Langford. Uproar detonated shouts, queries, fury over her self-dealing. Our dues. How deep? Fee hikes for this. Victoria rose, frantic. Misunderstanding. Complex ops, hidden costs. Crowd drowned her. Phones dialed cops. Clara motioned removal and payback seconded. Unanimous 62-0. Victoria bolted for doors, but residents barred, demanding truth. Mistakes yours. Victoria stealing via laws I wrote to shield from your ilk. Chaos reigned. But would she pay, or slip free? Fallout hit like a blitz. In 72 hours, cops probed her finances with my files and resident statements. Paper splashed. Association boss charged in $28,000 theft, with bogus bills, self-checks. Quotes raged shock. Thanks for my stand against her escalating despotism. Sophia's deeper dive, with police access, unearthed more. Dummy firms, dodgy taxes, patterns from Willowbrook. DA filed embezzlement, fraud, duty breach. Victoria repaid fast to dodge extras draining savings. Mortgaging home, but that was mild. Social shredding crushed harder. Neighbors who'd fake smiled now shunned her outright. Her patrols became solo shame walks, backs turned. Stores hushed at her entry, whispers trailing. Hubby split in days, King ghosted. Ethan saw a savage gas station clash. A find over weeds lady hollered. Thief who robbed us. Enjoy lockup. Kids treated her place like cursed ground, daring doorbell dashes. Ethan evolved from self-blaming to justice savvy. Grandpa, you're a hidden legend. Save the whole hood from a crook. I clarified. Not heroics, Ethan. Knowledge plus guts against bullies. She banked on apathy. One prepared push toppled her. Healing bloomed. Clara interim prez, installing open books, monthly audits. Turnout soared for new elections. Fresh head, ex-CPA Theo, vowed transparency. He tapped me for advisor. I passed but aided bylaw beef-ups for checks, clear grievances. My rights seminars packed halls, empowering the once silent. Kids romped river free. Chats flowed over fences. Victoria sold out in weeks, truck loading under watchful eyes. I mixed triumph with sorrow, her self-wrought ruin sobering. Clara said she clerked retail nearby, embezzler tag barring better. Poetic downfall, karma's bite. For months post-banishment, my retreat hummed serene river calm. Tea uninterrupted, mysteries devoured. Ethan stayed through winter, our bond mentor deep. Dockside one dusk, lines bobbing, he probed. Grandpa, any regrets? You nuked her world home. Marriage, rap, I'd mulled it. A bit, yeah. Didn't aim to ruin. Just halt the torment. But inaction lets evil fester. She reaped her choices, crimes, bullying, fear-mongering. He nodded, grasping justice versus vengeance. Rules need fair teeth. If capable folks duck, tyrants rule. Chat cut by Clara waving mail. From Pine Ridge Association. Heard your governance prowess. Our prez, Helena Voss, sparks fund fears, opacity. Consult. Ethan lit. Destiny. Another tyrant takedown. Clara teased. Become the bully buster circuit. Amusing, invigorating skills for good. Up for it, Ethan. His beam, hell yes. Learn more grit here than school. Let's hit M. I eyed our revived haven-free laughs, playing kids. Justice, harmony restored. Symbolic close. Yanked her last sign, association parking only. Prosecute intruders, swapped for community protected by statute. Ethan photographed. Pin Pine Ridge yes, roped Sophia. Bugged again, she chuckled. Retiring's blah when tyrants roam. Envelope sealed, purpose bloomed expertise as duty. The river awaited return, others needed rescue first. That's taming a rogue HOA queen. Lesson: no rights. Bullies crumble under facts. She targeted weak, met the architect of her undoing. Was Robert too extreme in exposing Victoria's past, or was it justified to dig deep for the truth? Did the community's shunning go overboard, or was it fair game for someone who terrorized them? Should retirees like him stay out of neighborhood wars, or step up as vigilantes? Drop your hot takes below. Did this story fire you up about fighting back? Like if you're Team Karma, comment your verdict, and subscribe for more real-life showdowns that pack a punch.